Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to crack open the Process Improvement Toolkit. We'll break down 4 really powerful tools that can take any chaotic workflow and turn it into a real model of efficiency.
You know that feeling, right? You know a process is just broken. It's costing you time, it's costing you money, but you can't for the life of you figure out why. Well, that frustrating sense of an invisible problem, that's exactly what we're going to tackle today.
So, our very first step on this journey is to create a map of our process. It's all about making that invisible, tangled-up workflow completely visible for everyone to see. And the tool for that is the process flowchart. Now, you might hear it called process mapping or a flow diagram. It's all the same thing, really. The goal is to create a visual blueprint of every single step. Honestly, this should always be your starting point because you just can't improve what you can't see. And the benefits here are huge. I mean, it goes way beyond just a pretty drawing. All of a sudden, everyone on the team is on the same page with the same understanding of how things work. Inefficiencies and bottlenecks that were totally hidden before, now they just pop right out. It naturally gets people talking, and hey, as a bonus, you've just created the perfect training guide for new people. All right, so now we can actually see the entire process laid out in front of us. That's a huge step. Now, let's move on to our next tool and see how we can start to tame some of that chaos and really build consistency. Our next tool is called Statistical Process Control, or SPC for short. Now, stick with me here. It sounds a little complicated, but think of it like this. You're basically using data to become a fortune teller for your process. The whole point is to monitor and control it so precisely that its performance becomes stable and totally predictable. So, the logic of SPC really just unfolds in 4 simple steps. First, you've got to measure the process as it is right now. Get your baseline. Then, you put on your detective hat and hunt down anything that's causing inconsistencies. Once it's stable, you keep an eye on it. You monitor it to make sure it stays that way. And finally, you can start fine-tuning, pushing the process toward its absolute best performance.
So here's the crucial point. Once the process is consistent, we're not finished, not even close. We need to understand the variables that keep it that way. This is all about fine-tuning our control.
So what are these variables we're talking about? Well, think of them as the measurable vital signs of your process. Things like temperature, pressure, flow rate, even chemical composition. These are the dials and gauges that tell you if everything is running exactly the way it should be. And this right here shows the 2 different worlds your process can live in. On the left, you've got a system that's in control. It's stable, it's efficient, it's running at its sweet spot. You don't need to do a thing. But on the right, that's an out-of-control process. A key variable has drifted, a warning light is basically flashing, and it's time to step in, find out what's wrong, and get things back on track. A perfectly controlled process is great, but it still has to exist in the real world, an imperfect world where things can and absolutely do go wrong. And that brings us to our final and absolutely essential tool, understanding and managing risk. Thinking about risk isn't just one big thing. It's about seeing it from all these different angles. We have to think about safety, the environment, the financial side of things, operations, property, and, even the company's reputation to really be prepared for what might happen. So once you know what your risks are, you have several strategic options. You can budget for it if you just can't get rid of it. In some really extreme cases, you might just have to stop the activity altogether. More often, though, you'll treat the risk with new procedures or more inspections, or you can transfer it, which is exactly what insurance is all about. But let's be real, with limited time and money, you can't fix every single potential risk. That's where criticality analysis comes in. It's a really methodical way to rank potential problems by looking at both how bad the consequences would be and how likely it is to happen. This makes sure you're focusing your energy on preventing the really bad stuff first. So let's just take a breath and recap the powerful journey we've been on, bringing all these tools together to move any process from a state of total chaos to one of real control. When you boil it down, it's a 4-step journey. First, you visualize the process with a flowchart. Then you control it with SPC. Next, you understand its key variables. And finally, you protect it by managing all the risks. See how they build on each other? It's a complete toolkit that you can use to improve any process you come across. So now you have the toolkit. The real question is, where are you going to use it first? Think about it. What's one process in your work that could be completely transformed with one of these tools starting today?